Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome in to Wake Up with ZRL. Wait, I'm sorry. Welcome to ZRL. We
Zed.
are live here this morning from parts unknown, parts somewhat known, and parts kind of known. Someone's got their speaker on in the background. It's real distracting because nobody wants to listen to that, myself included. And happy to be here with you guys this morning. We're here with Duncan McCamick, with Adam Klein, and special guest because Josh Barnsley is incredibly unreliable. So we got a much better Canadian, a much reliable Canadian, and we have Travis Robinson on with us for the first time. Travis, welcome to Wake Up with ZRL.
Yeah, thanks guys. Happy to be here.
Adam, I think it's your mic that's echoing, so I think that we're just gonna, kick you out.
Bounce me, man.
No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. So welcome to Wake Up with ZRL, guys. Let's just get right into it. I mean, I know we got F1 qualifying here in probably 35 minutes if I'm doing math right. So, first topic of the day, we have longtime hero of ZRL, PBJ, making the return to. He's actually coming to Div 3 this week, right?
Yeah, I think he wants to try to reserve as much as he can. He's looking to make something of a transition. It was a shock to me. I was talking to him on his stream on Tuesday, and PBJ does this. He ebbs and flows with where his interests are. And right now he is interested in coming back and doing more running in the open wheelers and the F1. And so we will be seeing the return of PBJ probably for the rest of the season. He'll be reserving, and if a seat opens up, he's an obvious shoe-in to slot into a seat into Div 2. And I believe through messages with you, he's also said he wants to lock in for Div 2 for next season.
Whoa.
So
breaking news! Are we making the announcement? Oh my
potentially,
gosh!
We'll see. That is the rumor around the paddock that PBJ will be making a full-time return for Div 2 for next season, and we'll just have to see how that goes.
Sources say. Adam, you've had a lot of time on track with PBJ. He actually is reserving for D1 and D3 this week, so he's reserving for both. What kind of expectations do you think we can see from PBJ reserving for Mercedes this week in Div 1?
I'm a little concerned. I don't know how much practice time he's put in. I know he's been pretty busy with work and stuff, and just life in general over the past few weeks, kind of month. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out. Knowing PBJ he's kind of like Bronson. He'll just show up and just win it. So he probably will finish with a few top fives this weekend. I have no doubt.
Yeah. Travis, what do you think? You think PBJ is going to be up there racing with you up front?
In Div 1, I'm not too sure. I think since PBJ has left ZRL, and since I've come in, Div 1 has gotten pretty spicy. There's a lot of really, really rapid drivers, and the gap, even from when I've joined, has grown substantially from division. So we'll see. I think he's gonna have a great showing in Div 3 though. I know he was practicing last night and he was shooting me a couple messages about it. So I'm excited to see him back in the car.
Yeah, I am too. PBJ is awesome. All right, let's move on to the second Div 1 topic we got up here today. Razor's been kind of I don't know, Reeves, this is your driver over here. Maybe I'll let you speak a little bit on it. But he's been kind of okay, he's still great. We can't deny he's great, and he's still way better than we expected. But for a second, is it we almost thought does Travis have some competition, and now it's starting to look like maybe he doesn't have competition. I know Travis is right here and we're talking about him, but Reeves, what's your thoughts on?
The main thing to remember is the season's not over. A lot of things can happen. And so Razor had to miss a race. So that's, unfortunate. Had a couple of on-track incidents where things didn't go his way. And that's going to happen over the course of a season, because as much as I don't want bad things to happen to Travis is going to have some bad stuff happen. Like Paul Ricard, he gets spun on lap 12. And then you got to claw back your way through the field, whereas Razor gets to stay up front the whole time. But the encouraging thing for me, and I'll get to more of Razor's issues in a second, is that McLaren in total they're going back and forth with the podiums. And so they're sitting really strong in the constructors. And I don't think any of us were predicting McLaren to be top 3 constructors at the beginning of the season. And right now they're only 4 points shy of Alpine. And so they're right there in the fight with Tom and with Razor. So they're doing great. I'm not concerned at all about Razor. The one thing that I am concerned about is I think part of his impetus and his motivation and his push was being separated from Pilon And there was that on track, I want to outperform Pelon, my old teammate, every week. And now that Pelon has stepped down from his drive because of personal reasons, work schedules, etc. Now he may have lost part of that motivation, and he's seeking for a new motivation to kind of push him forward the way he was training at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, Pelon was definitely a big motivator for Razor. Travis, racing this kind of track, I'm sure you got a lot of respect for him. What's your thoughts on? I mean, what do you have to say from as a competitor to Razor? I guess.
I do really hope that he has a bounce back for the second half of the season. He's unfortunately declined for Sunday's race at Bahrain, which
Did he
is too
officially
bad.
decline? I knew he was tentative.
I was just looking at the attendance this morning. It's set to
Man.
decline. Hopefully he makes a little bit of a guest appearance.
Yeah.
Last minute call. But yeah, I like the competition that he brings. He's so rapid. I think he's one of the people that in terms of race pace gives me a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
Yeah, hopefully I can be his new pylon. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
if Razor, if you're listening, man, use Travis. All right, let's move on to some
That was to Joe
Alpine.
Punk.
Let's move on to some Alpine conversation going on in Div 2. I think it's been pretty noticed by everyone. Adam, what the for lack of better terms, what the hell is going on with Ethan, dude? Oh, you're muted.
Oh dear.
He's
Oh,
over
my
there
bad,
talking.
guys. My
And honestly, that
guys.
may have been the best explanation we've heard all year, and you just screwed that up.
It could have been. I think we said it. I think we said it a few weeks ago. He got into iRacing. Very different platforms, very different physics models. So it's tough to come back and make that transition back and forth where you have a more realistic tire model running Formula V's and Miatas coming to Formula One or F1 games where it's just, all throttle, all brake applications essentially. And I mean, I know I've struggled. It takes special people to be able to switch games like that. And I think he's just struggling, even though he plays on a wheel in iRacing and controller for F1. So maybe my explanation doesn't make any sense, but I think he will get back to form. So
Yeah, I mean, we've gone through a tough couple of tracks. As you look at the driver standings, he's still in 5th place, 82 points. He's not out of it. I don't think that he's in it to compete with his teammate. I think that he knows he's driver number 2, but I think he still has a solid goal of going for at least 2nd place in the driver standings, and it's still potentially there. He might need some struggles from other people now that he's had struggles himself, but these tracks are not been easy, and I think we're coming up on some ones that I'm not gonna say are easy, but not so technical. And you're right. Maybe he can just get a couple consistent finishes and get it going again.
yeah, really create that gap for us and the constructors is what we're looking for out of him at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. And the constructor standings, if we take a look at that real quick, we've got Alpine in the lead. But actually, for some reason, I just noticed this. Alpine and Ferrari are extremely close in constructor standings in Div 2, and Red Bull is like right behind them. So we've got quite the battle going on.
Yeah, I mean, really, it only takes one or two of the Ferraris or Alpines to not have a good result, and Shaggy and Garrett put in a great one, and we have a 3-way battle for the constructors championship. I mean,
I think your biggest gap there is Johannes missing a race, Ethan having 2 DNFs, and Ferrari for the season. Sleek has 1 DNF, and that's it for the team. They haven't missed a race. They haven't DNF'd at all. So I think that's where your gap is closing up right there. Is just the missed race and the 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Alpine be running away right now.
Absolutely, but I mean that's part of racing, right? Like it's next man up. It's things are going to happen outside of your control, right? We talk about it in American football all the time. Injuries happen throughout the year, right? You still have to play the game, so you still have to drive the race every weekend. And I mean, if anything, it's made it more compelling. So I really enjoy watching it.
Yep. Moving on from the Ethan Patel landslide and Alpine demise, Garrett, on the other hand, he's been kind of up and coming, honestly. Travis, coming from a Red Bull driver to another. I know he's in Div 2, but I think he'll be making his way to Div 1. Do you have any words of confidence or praise for Garrett?
I know he puts in the time. And especially when you're kind of in that bubble between Div 2 and Div 1, or even Div 3, Div 2, putting in that little bit of extra time can elevate you, and it does not go unnoticed. So, when you're watching him on stream and you're watching the confidence behind his laps and everything, you can tell that the practice is going a long way, and it's only a matter of time before it kind of just all clicks, and hopefully we see him in Div 1.
Yeah. Yeah, Garrett's he's obviously a close friend of mine in real life. I think when he got demoted to Div 2, it more or less like I'm not gonna say like hit him emotionally. We're playing a video game here, but I think it's kind of just like it's a wake up call. Like shit, this isn't where I want to be necessarily. Or not that it isn't. Cause it's Garrett. He likes winning. He likes doing good. And I'm sure he's getting that in D2, and it's fun. But he also knows that he's not a Div 2 driver, and I think that he's trying to pretty much make that clear at this point. I think if you look at the sorting table, he's pretty much locked into Div 1 next season. But you're right, Travis. Every week, Garrett's one of those guys, and there's a short list of those guys who's putting in like a lot of hours. And when you put in that time, it shows results, and I think that's what we've seen here.
And historically, you look at the top 5 of Division 2, and they all were or should be in Division 1. We're talking about Johannes, we're talking about Sid, Garrett, Sleek, Ethan. They're all Division 1 caliber drivers. And the difference, again, why Garrett is in P3 is the 3 podiums. You get 3 podiums, you don't DNF, and you don't miss, you're going to be in the mix for the championship. Now, granted, you've got, the Danish alien and the Indian alien, trying to block your way there. Yeah. But Garrett's consistency, all it takes is Johannes missing another couple races, having that bad moment that he had last year. I think it was in Brazil where he spun just unexpectedly.
Yep.
And Garrett's right there in the mix for this fight. And so just proving that, he's above, he drives above what his current station is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes it exciting, and in the constructors, it's good to have a third competitor as a team there. So,
yep, definitely. Moving on to Div 3, we got a new winner, new first time winner. It's arguable that he could have won more races than this, but Raz coming in from Aston Martin to get his first win of the season. Revis, I know that's probably wasn't the first driver you expected to get a win from Mercedes, but how do you feel about a driver coming from, let's say, your third best Mercedes team coming in and taking a win?
So I'm not surprised by it. And the only reason he was picked later is because I had more confidence in Kyle and Mr. Robot based on past experiences with those drivers. And so Raz was still kind of an unknown quantity for me. And obviously, he's put in the work. He's put in the time. He is the one that's constantly in the Mercedes chat driving our other drivers. Even though he's one of the youngest drivers we have in the Mercedes stable, he's one of the more mature ones in terms of let's get on, let's practice, let's figure this out. Hey, Mr. Sandunga, you've been helping me out a bunch with setup, with engineering. When are you available to help me? Because I know that the two of us communicate well, and you're going to help me figure out what I need to figure out. And so even though he's so young and kind of silly at times, whatever, he's shown that maturity of I'm taking this seriously because I'm too good to be stuck here forever in D3. And I know the way to keep moving up into the more prime divisions is to get these wins and to get these good positions. And so I think Raz is showing everything I thought he might be, but wasn't sure he was going to be. And I can't say enough about the kid. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of practice with him just because, like you said, he's always on and he's always grinding, kind of like Garrett. Kind of funny how we see this trend that people who practice do well. But
weird.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. But no, I've done a couple practices with Raz, and it's always. I mean, to me, it's clear he's not a Division 3 driver. He's got a little bit of consistency issues, which is probably why he's not in the driver standings fight. We'll pull it up real quick. Driver standings.
P5 right now.
What's that?
He's P5 right now.
Yeah, he's P5 right now. He's about 90 points out, but I think that he's good enough. Definitely, his pace is kind of crazy because when I'm racing with him, I'm like, I mean, I know it's Bahrain, but we were practicing this week, and I'm like, I can't lose this guy. He's on your tail the whole time, and he's definitely got the pace to even like race with D1 drivers. If he were to like substitute, I think it'd be really interesting to see where he finishes. He might be substitute. No, he. You know what? He's we have our UK barrier, so I guess he won't be racing in D1. But when he goes to D2, I don't know. I think the kid's got a lot of potential, like a whole lot of potential. And if he keeps grinding, I think that like maybe you'll see another potential like competitor for Johannes even. But I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Let's take a look at the constructor standings over here at D2 real quick as well as we move on to our next topic. And then since Josh isn't here today, I'll let Travis speak on this one a little bit. What's your thoughts on Ferrari and Cushy specifically? He's starting to have a little bit of a bounce back. As a driver who's been racing for a long time, Travis, I'm sure that you've had your share of slumps. And what sort of words of advice?
So Cushy and I go actually pretty far back. We've been in three leagues now, three F1 leagues together. From I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 years ago when it all started. So wow. Him and I have been racing together for quite a while. I brought him over here into ZRL, and I was pretty excited to see him initially start off pretty well. He had some great pace. He was doing he was just getting some solid results. But I know that he is still racing in at least one of the other leagues, and I kind of wonder at times if him practicing, 2 or 3 different tracks a week is kind of what's coming into the interference there. But we've kind of seen it recently where he has been still consistent. Like if you see his positions, he's still finishing P5, P6 every single race. He's still getting consistent points. He's not like, sure, he might have 1 or 2 races where he's finished outside of the top 10, but he's a consistent driver. He can be there. He just needs to get that race pace back because he loves the game. He'll definitely be a challenger if he doesn't get too sidetracked with the other leagues there.
Yeah, he's kind of in the same driver standings position as Raz is too, where I don't know if first place is reachable, but maybe he can get a top 3, and I think that'd be really cool to see him come that far. Revis or Adam, do you have any words of advice for Cushy as he's attempting to make his recovery drive back to the top of the standings?
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Most of the stuff that is holding him back right now is not his fault. He gets tangled with other drivers on lap 1, and I think part of that is going to be him focusing more on his qualifying position. He's a fine qualifier, but if he could somehow get in front of some of where the mess is, then he doesn't get caught up in that, and it lets him kind of run free at the beginning of the race. But it seems like he's had a few little lap 1, lap 2 incidents where he gets tangled with another driver when he probably shouldn't be in that situation to begin with. So if there was one thing I would say he would be better to work on, it would be his qualifying.
Yep. Moving on, we're at the Bahrain Grand Prix this week, as is real life as well. Let's talk about the track a little bit. The weather is not so much something we have to worry about, but Travis, we've had a lot of discussions about like what kind of setups can be ran here at Bahrain. I think it's pretty variable. You have any input on what kind of setups we might see here going into this weekend?
Yeah, there's going to be 2 different types of setups. There's going to be the people who put a setup on for qualifying, not really worrying about ERS consumption. Higher wings, easier in like the ends of sector 1, beginnings of sector 2, and you'll save a ton of time with running like a 8-10 wings. But then we're going to have the people who are also going with the race pace ERS savings. They're going to have a little bit lower wings, might not see the best qualifying times out of them, but they might make up a position or 2 down the stretch come race time. So it'll be interesting to see like how they split those strategies. But yeah, definitely a track where you can easily get away with one or the other for setups, which is not usually the case for most tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna add this. I just always thought this was weird, and maybe it's something that's in the game that's not meant to be there. But at Bahrain, it's a track where there's a lot of straightaways and it's like a lot of high speed. But it's crazy how good the high downforce setups work. Like if you were to even run like an 11-10 or a 10-11, something like that, sounds stupid. It really does. the qualifying times you get because of the opening of your DRS zones, like in qualifying you get to open it in every zone, obviously. It's actually incredibly fast. But as you're saying, can you make that work in a race? I don't know. When you got a train of cars behind you in a DRS train and you're running, 10, 11 wings or something, and then you got people who are running like 6, 8.
Yeah, the only good thing to come out of it is if the people around you are running the same wings. Otherwise, you're always going to be, struggling to keep up or making sure that you have to be in the DRS zone the entire time. So there's two sides of it. Do you want a higher qualifying position or a better race situation?
Yep.
I think for me with the 50% race, I'm going to be focused mostly on sector 2 because sector 2, because it's so twist, that's where your high downforce is going to pay off. It's turns 5 through 12. And especially the hairpin and the downhill left at turn 11, you can make up so much time there versus somebody that has to brake so much earlier, especially if you're right there in that DRS train, because then the wings don't matter quite as much. And if you can keep making up that time and keep that gap, and you're not going to wear your tires out, and the guy ahead of you is going to have to be burning his battery to defend from the DRS over time, like you were saying, Travis, do you want to qualify well, or do you want to be in the mix in the race? And I think the mid to higher downforce setup is going to keep you in the mix.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good to see that they have fixed the setup issues, because I remember when the game first came out, we ran at Bahrain and like 10, 11 wings, it was cracked, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, and everybody ran that. So it's good to see that different strategies can come in here. Obviously, you got to worry about turn 1, 8, and 10. Those are the ones that are going to catch you out, get you in a spin. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the different strategies this weekend.
Adam, do you think we're gonna have any like safety car wise? You think we're gonna have a lot of DNFs and safety cars? Or are we expecting clean races here?
You had the high potential of having issues going into turn 1 on the start. I know we've had issues with that in the past, especially in D2. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure here. I'm thinking we see for D2, my prediction there is 1 safety car, and 1 D1 as well. I'm gonna say 2 in Division 3 though. 2 safety cars, so nothing crazy.
Yeah. I think that I forget what turn number it is, but the long right-hander. Maybe someone can help me out with that.
Turn 12 uphill. If
Yeah,
you barely touch it inside curb.
Yeah, if you barely touch the inside curb, that's one way to do it. But the other way is as your tires get worn, and depending on what kind of setups people are running, if you're running a little bit of a stiffer rear anti-roll bar or stiffer suspension in the rear, especially, your rear can really want to go around on you, which is nice for other parts of the track to like get your rotation, but
you don't want rotation when you're flat out.
Yeah,
at 180 miles an hour.
Exactly. So it's going to be kind of finding where hopefully people have done their like setup work during the week to figure out how much can we turn up that rear anti-roll bar and the rear suspension before we are dead on worn tires too. Because it's different. In time trials, one thing, yeah, I'm getting grip and I'm not gonna lose my rear. But when you're sitting on 50% softs on your first stint and a full fuel, and things start to get a little bit different. But we'll leave that for the drivers to decide. Let's move on. We got 15 minutes left until the start of real life qualifying. Let's just do booms only this week, so we're not cursing anyone, or we're not blessing anyone with bus. We're only cursing people with booms. Div 3 predictions. Adam, give me your boom.
I'm gonna call Raz back-to-back weeks. I think that the win really boosted his confidence. Obviously, got to stay out of trouble and fight back Buzz God. But I think we will see a Mercedes back-to-back powertrain in Division 3.
Travis, go ahead and give us your boom.
I'm going to go with a team, if that's all right. I'm going to do Ferrari. And one that's, we were just talking about Cushy. Cushy is due for a podium or at least like a P4. And Axelized, he had a DNF and then followed by non-podium, which was almost rare to not see him on the podium. So I think they're going to have a strong week. Going to come out with going to come out blazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Revis, what's your thoughts on who's going to do well this week in Div 3?
So my boom this week is going to be Team Haas. I think Flossie and Nux are overdue for the two of them both having a good race. And since this isn't quite as technical a track, I think both of them can put together some really good laps here. And I think you'll see Haas near the top. I think they're going to have a good weekend.
Yeah. Go ahead.
On that note, though, Gnux isn't racing, so.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll still have a reserve, but as Haas
Yeah.
constructors, yeah, my boom, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Mercedes this week, and that's strictly because if I say this now, that's a guaranteed curse confirmed. So, and no one else said that it's gonna be a good week for Red Bull.
In real life, and in real life.
Oh, please, in real life.
Real sandbagging. Let's see.
Div 2, let's go back to you, Adam. Let's give us your boom predictions.
Ethan, podium.
Boom! You're just cursing your own
Wow.
team. I don't know.
Wow.
No, but realistically, I think that's a good pick. Ethan is super due. Super due. So, Travis, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I kind of want to go a little bit outside of the box. Go with like a Shaggy Muffin. Shaggy also puts in some good practice time and hasn't really had the best season, but I could see it happening.
Yeah, Previous, who you got?
Team Aston Martin. Drip's got a whole new setup, and I was watching him practice some ACC the other night, and it looks like he's got better control over what he's doing with the car, and I think some of that's going to translate into his driving in F1. He's been really inconsistent. We talk about a case of the drips, where you're running okay, and then something goofy happens, and I think he's ready to clean that up and have a strong finish to the season.
Yeah, Drip's one of those drivers who he's really well, I don't know. I think that he's a really good driver, and things just haven't been going his way, and it's unfortunate to see that. But I hope that things do get better for him. My boom for this week, and I hope this isn't a curse this time. I really hope that Sid. Actually, I really think that Sid's gonna have a great week. But Johannes is a different animal. But I would love to see a Sid win. I think that'd be freaking awesome. So, Sid, get it done, dude.
sit on hards. Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Sid's always doing the alternate strategy, and he freaking makes it work, dude.
It's crazy.
You love it. But Adam, who you got? Div 1 predictions.
My boom. You, sir. Duncan, you
No,
are
no,
due.
no, no, no,
You
no,
are
no,
due.
bro, no. Look at this
You
curse.
are due.
Do
Yes.
So
You're
let's note I have a quality ban this week for penalty points that I've accrued through last season
Don't
and this
care.
season. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Pete's
Don't
30
care.
for 20.
Top 8.
frick. Gosh, dang
Top
it.
8.
All right, Travis, who you got?
My boom for Div 1, and this is saying he's going to get into the top 10, have a strong race, is PBJ. I don't think he's going to be up there in the podiums, like I said earlier in the broadcast, but I think PBJ is going to have a really welcomed back race, finish in the points, and do well for whatever team he's reserving for.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think everyone is team PBJ at this point. So it's like we all want to see PBJ do good.
Yeah,
I really hope it works out.
The strength of PBJ is he's really good on strategy, and he's super consistent. Like I don't think
Jack Fletcher.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't DNF once in the 2 seasons he ran in ZRL. So I mean, super consistent, knows how to stay out of trouble, has good brain strategy. So
Yes.
Yep, I agree. Reeves, who you got?
So he had a good result last week. He was on for a podium there for a little while, and I think we are seeing the resurgence of Gator. I think Jason Pelter is going to have a really good weekend. He's been due for it. I know he's been struggling in the Haas a little bit, but happy to see him. And my on A would be Damien. I was really proud to see him leading the race for a while at France.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was racing the race, but then when I went back and watched the broadcast, I was like, Damien? No offense to Damien, but I was like, Damien's up there in front? Like, what? We got a Williams up there in the front? That's awesome.
It was a really good time. So, yeah, I think both those guys, but yeah, more particular, Jason Pelter. I think he is he's sniffing at that first podium. I think he's getting it all together right now.
Yep.
Jumping over to just really quickly here for Damien. There's a couple races ago, I think it was at Brazil. You know what? Could have been France. Who knows? But Damien was behind me, and he was a lap down due to an incident. But Damien stuck with me the entire time, and I was pretty surprised by that. And he has pace. He can definitely bring it to the table.
Yeah. As honestly, everyone in Div 1 has pace, so it's crazy. It's a lot of fun to race in Div 1 though. So, my boom this week, if this is a curse, I'm so sorry. Joel, my teammate, dude, he is so due, and he puts in work every week, and he shows up, and I don't know, man. It just hasn't been going his way, and I feel like the bad luck has to come to an end at some point. So Joel, you're on for a good one this week, and he'll be driver number 1. So because I'll be starting the back, he gets preference on pitch strategy, assuming he doesn't qualify P19, which he won't. He'll qualify top 3. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Spicy.
So yeah, let's see. Real quick, I know that's the end of our topics. Who you guys have going pole here in 10 minutes? Adam, go.
Carlos gets his first ever pole. Let's go.
Oh,
That's
my
spicy.
gosh.
And I was, you know what? I was going to say the exact same thing. I would love to see Carlos up there. He's looked great. I'm going Carlos too. Carlos fan voting this week.
Is the Ferrari for real?
It seems to be.
I don't know.
either that or they're the only team that didn't sandbag. So we'll see.
Well, look how quick the Haas is right now, and it's the same powertrain. I mean,
were
it's
you about to
got to
say
be
that-
real, right?
Okay, I thought you were about to say, look how quick the Haas is. I think that freaking Magnussen's going to go pole or something else.
Well, hold on, I haven't made my prediction yet.
Yeah,
have I?
who's your prediction for pole?
I think you're going to see Mick Schumacher,
Oh my god.
not on pole, but I mean somewhere near, like in the top 20.
The
No,
top 20?
Man, so I think we're gonna see so it sounds crazy, but honestly, it's gonna be Lewis Hamilton, because right there at the end of FP3, all of a sudden that Mercedes came alive after they made a minor adjustment to George Russell's car, and we know just mentally how Lewis Hamilton can flip that switch when he needs to, and if they get whatever they figured out on George's car, I think he and Max are going to be pushing right to the very last seconds of qualifying. So I think Mercedes, they're going to dump the sandbags. They've got something figured out with George's car, and they're going to throw it on Lewis's car. And I think this is going to be one of our most exciting qualifyings we've seen in a while.
I mean, if you go back to last year's Secure GP first race, and Lewis Hamilton the entire time leading into it was just complaining about his car in practice sessions, and ended up winning the race. So
Yeah, typical Lewis fashion.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, as much as I don't know. I was gonna say as much as I don't want to see it. I don't hate Mercedes so much. I hate Lewis, unfortunately. But like George Russell, I don't have any issues with him. So I think once Lewis is gone, things will clear up for me. But I honestly, I feel like, as Rivas said, they did figure out something with George's car. So George Russell, bang, that's your pull. You're gonna see it.
That would be so
First
crazy.
poll. I anybody's first poll. I'm good with.
Yeah, I'll be happy
love
for
to
him.
see it.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's all for Wake Up with ZRL this week. Let's go watch qualifying, and good luck to everyone this weekend who's racing. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below. Feel free to join our Discord if you're new. Be a part of the community. Revis, you got anything for them?
Make sure you like, subscribe, be tuned in for all of our races this weekend. I'm going to be doing Division 3 and Division 1. Or wait, Division 2 and Division 1. I'll be doing stuff. I'll be here annoying you all weekend long. Travis, got something for you real quick. I was talking to my wife the other day, and she asked me if I could stop singing Wonderwall. And I said, maybe.